Okay, are we recording? Are you with me? Okay, good.
Yep.
See, I was waiting too long. I love this. Love it. So welcome everyone to today's Sacred Conversation. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this one, or as I am with all of them, with Darleen Redmond. Darleen had originally approached me to go onto her YouTube conversations, and I just loved what we talked about. And I really wanted her to now share her story with us. She's an artist. Darleen, is an artist mindset mentor. And I want her, she'll go into explaining what that means. And Darleen used to be a nurse in it was actually traumatizing for you for 30 years. And what I'm going to do is read it, because I prefer to read people's bios. Basically, she wants to support businesswomen. Many businesswomen will experience mental unwellness, she calls it, not just mental illness. And I really like that, because we're trying to get rid of the taboo and seeing it as a real negative, that we can still thrive in our lives, and the challenges of running a business with that is how we work with this to thrive in our businesses. So she was 30 years working in the healthcare on the front line. And it wasn't until she recognized that she was severely depressed and suicidal that she knew changes had to be made, which included leaving her career behind. Let's start on that, leaving your career behind. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is a big wow, because it was 30 years. Like, I started off as a first aid officer. So for those that are aware, it's St. John Ambulance. And so that meant we went out and did first aid, like at footies, at, raceways and everything like that. Then got into nursing, paramedic, all of that. So all on the front line. That was my life. And I didn't realize until I actually had 3 really big no's. Like, I'd gone for jobs, and that's 3 really big no's. And I went, you know what? It's actually time to get out. I'm actually well past burnout. I was actually 10 years past burnout.
Yeah.
And I stayed in for 10 years. Like, can you believe it? Burnt out, still stayed in for 10 years, because it was a safe job. Like, it felt safe. And so then, it was actually about probably 3 or 4 years before that I actually had, and I really talk about this. I'm so willing to talk about this, that I got severely depressed, looked at, because I'm opposite where I used to work, looked at it and went, you know what, I could take that, and that, and I could do myself in, and no one would even care that I'd gone. And that was the thing. Thankfully, it was my guides or something had reached into my brain and turned a switch. And I went, oh my goodness, what did I just say to myself? And I realized that I had everything. So for those that are not aware, when there's suicide, you actually have 4 different areas. So I had the plan, the means, everything. And I just went, whoa. And then, when I got out, the first year was literally surviving, because I'd run on adrenaline for 30 years. 30 years of adrenaline, not switching off, always on. And then, the first year was just surviving, and then understanding what it meant to live without adrenaline 24/7, and only live with it when you really need it.
Yes, and oh my gosh, there's so much goodness there already. So 2 things I'd like to look at, and I agree with you, is that we get used to drama and trauma. So when we do come out, we actually don't know how to be without it.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
know with the 12-step programs, I went through the Alateen, we no longer know how to be without what was it? Sick excitement.
Yes.
So sometimes, and I don't know if you found this, that sometimes when you do get out, you actually keep drawing it into you, because that's normal. You've normalized it, haven't you, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I did that because I've volunteered all my life, and I'm a surf lifesaver. So I then had that adrenaline. I still had that adrenaline, because I'm saving lives. I've got the helicopters going past all the time, and it's just like, what am I doing? So I spent that first year just surviving.
Yeah.
And then I'm the type of person that I have to keep busy. Like, again, it's a trauma response. I've got to be busy.
Yes.
And so I had to learn how to relax. But my mind went, okay, so I've got to be busy. What am I going to do? Okay, let's just go back to TAFE and do a course. I happened to do a diploma of counselling, which of course was truly amazing and really just, opened things up for me. And thankfully at the same time I was seeing a psychologist. And this is why I really want to raise the awareness, is there's nothing unhealthy about seeing a psychologist. It is actually the healthiest thing that you can do, to see a psychologist, counsellor, whoever that can support you. And the growth I've seen in since I've left my beautiful career is incredible. I'm now actually thriving, and I now
Yes.
understand
Yes.
what it means to not have that adrenaline 24/7, to not need the drama in my life, to, to know when to, like, I really listen to my body now. So I know, okay, this is when I work best on these certain areas in my business. This is when I work best on this. I need to rest. And like, it's just, I don't think about things anymore. Like, I just, okay, it's rest time now.
And I love hearing that, because we were thinking of a title for this, and that's
Mm,
why you want to do it, how to thrive. You
mm,
were saying in business
mm,
with mental illness, but I think
mm,
it's also, like you said, it's how to thrive. I wonder it also in
mm,
life, and perhaps you need to do
mhm.
that first to do it in business, and then it becomes synonymous with each other, doesn't it?
It
You
does,
know,
yes, because everything you do in your personal life affects your business.
that's right.
Because I really believe business has an energy. It's got an energy. You birthed it. So it's got an energy. It's got all of that. So if you can thrive in your personal life, you can thrive in business.
Mhm. Yes, I agree, because I know for me, when I got a big realization was that, yes, like I'd taken the DNA of my trauma into my business, but then I realized my business had also become my trauma,
Mm,
because
yes.
I was doing everything in the personal life, but I also created this persona. So there was
Mm-hmm.
these two, all this happening, and she said, we don't
Mm,
realize. And I think something you mentioned before, you felt safe in your
mm.
business. Was that more financial, or was it safe because it was the known, even though it was actually traumatizing you?
Safe in nursing, yeah, it was, well, I thought it was safe. And
Yes.
looking back, it's like, oh my goodness, it wasn't. Like, I am really grateful for the 30 years because of everything I've learned. I've brought a lot of that stuff into my business, including the trauma, which thankfully, I've learned
Mm.
how to look at and everything. But, all of, like, I'm grateful for it. And, it was safe for me because it was bringing in money. Yet at the same time, it wasn't safe.
Yes. And I think another point you've made there, which I think is interesting, we often say stay in situations, whether it be
Mhm.
relationships, jobs, or
Mm,
whatever, because of the money, because that's that
yes.
security.
Mm,
And that
mhm,
might be where we might bring in, because you love the chakras, and I work with them too.
mm,
And because that's the initial one I would use is the root chakra.
mm,
But I know a client of mine worked on the heart. But it's
mm,
because you need to feel safe and secure in
mm.
life, don't you?
Yes.
Money is our exchange, or is
Mhm,
our, what do you call it, is our, or money
mm.
is it, isn't it, really, in the life that we lead?
Yeah, well, we need money to live. Like, and I've talked about this, that when I left nursing, I had to go on to Centrelink benefits. And I mean, living by myself, thankfully, my expenses and all that weren't too much, but still, I had to think about, well, how many meals a day am I going to have this week? Like going from,
Yes.
half decent wage to suddenly thinking, well, what am I going to do? And that was incredible. It was incredible to look at, and the growth from that was incredible as well, because I've learned so much about me as a person, which has helped me in my business.
Oh God, I love this. And what I'm seeing is that you no longer felt safe in business. So you took
Mm,
yourself out, but then having no money, you created also another space of it being
mm,
unsafe. Yet through that, you were able to rise. As you said,
mm,
through that, you're able to grow
mhm,
through that. And I love that, because I suppose it really made you look at, who are you? What do I
mhm,
need? What do I
mm.
want?
Yes, exactly. And that's the
Mm.
thing. Like, all of these people that go, oh, like, especially in nursing, oh, I can't go part-time, like, it's like,
Mm.
well, have you actually looked at what you're spending your
Yeah.
money on? If you really looked at what was important in your life, you could go part-time, and you would be so much better off, because you'd have 3 days off instead of two, and those 2 days being frantic. I've got housework, I've got cooking, I've got this, I've got that. Like, just imagine, like, and for anyone listening, just imagine what you can do if you go part-time in work. You are so much healthier. Your mindset is so much better.
Oh, and I love that. That really touches me, what you're saying, because it's that simple yet that hard, isn't it? And
Mm,
to have
yes.
the courage, which is what you have had, to step out of the known
Mm,
into the unknown. That's
mm,
my words.
yes.
And you're standing there going, oh my, there's this abyss, and you're going, okay, how am I
Yeah.
going to get out of this?
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And it's, it's so powerful when you as a businesswoman, mother, whatever, when you understand what's important, you can pass that on to your clients, your, children and everything. It's incredible. And it does take that step of courage to go, what am I doing? And we do become addicted to the money that we get. We become addicted to it. And that's why going from a wage to suddenly going to literally nothing, I realized I was addicted to that wage. And I had to learn how to relive, basically relive.
And I like that. And I think also we could go one step further. You're addicted to the money because you're addicted to what it can bring you.
Mm-hmm.
And most probably a lot of the things you actually didn't need, you thought you did,
Yes.
or we get caught up in that I have to have this and I have to do that. Do you really?
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
taught to question things,
Mhm.
are we?
Yeah, exactly. And that transfers, or that's something I really want to talk about, is for me in business, I'm now questioning lots of things. And I even question the advice that I get from my coaches
Yes.
because I'm trusting myself. I'm really trusting myself and my business and going, okay, great, there's this advice. Is it right for me? Like, that's the thing. Is it right for our business? Because we are the ones that know our business the best.
That's right.
Yes, I have coaches and mentors and everything, and I will listen to them. And at the same time, I'll go, okay, so that sounds right, but no, that sounds really wrong for me.
And again, my goodness, I love that because I did that one with Trish, advice giving versus advising and how it affects trauma. And as you said, in business, because I know from my experience, because I've been in business for quite a while, and with the trauma, I wasn't discerning enough. I needed their advice. They were the authority because I'd lost that sense of authority of myself.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. We put these people on pedestals
Yeah.
because we've been taught to do that. Oh, well,
Yes.
they're the experts. They obviously know better. No matter whether you work or business, you put people as experts. And it's
Yes.
like, hang on, I'm the expert. Yes, you've got great advice, and I'll listen to people, but I'm the expert because myself and my business, we talk to one another all the time now. We are constantly talking. And so we are the expert on our business, not my coach or my mentor. Yet I will still listen to them because there might be amazing advice, which sometimes there is. And other times my whole body just goes, whoa, no thanks.
Yeah, and I like that. And did you notice you went automatically? And I like that because that's something you tune into your body. And I think also with the coaches nowadays, and they have every right to this, but coming back to the money. So of course we put value on. The more they charge, obviously they must know more. They must be a bigger authority. So of course we then we get caught up. I need to have it, or I need to mortgage my house. I need to do this,
Yeah.
or whatever. And there's this whole fear of missing. All this comes in, which of course plays into our already traumatized, beautiful person or woman that we are, isn't it? And we think there must be something wrong with us because we can't afford it. We're not prepared to put ourselves out there anymore. We're not part of that elite group in
Oh,
there.
yes. Yeah. And you see it everywhere. Like, I'm in an amazing Facebook group and I still see the eliteness. There is eliteness even in the program and that. And I just go, you know what? I don't care. I don't need to be the popular person. I don't need to be, that person that everybody goes to. Yes, I'm the expert in what I do, but I don't need everybody. I only need the people that I need, the people that, I want to surround myself with.
And I think that's a big learning too, is that I got caught up initially because I had initiated a skincare range, and I initially got caught up in the millions, in the this is because
Yes.
I thought that's what you did and what you needed. But as you said, in fact, you don't. It's coming right back in. I've just been reading Denise Duffield Thomas's new book, Chillum, and it came today, and it was like, oh, I needed to hear this. We contribute to the conversation. We not need to be the guru. So what
Yes.
you're doing is you are contributing to this conversation
Exactly. Yes.
in
Yep.
being who you are.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, yep. And that's why, like what I do is what I do. And, we both work with the chakras. We just work with them differently. And that's what I love. That's why I'm passionate about, connecting to all the businesswomen I can, because there is no competition.
That's right.
There's no competition whatsoever.
And no, there isn't. And what I'm loving too, and thank you for that, because because we bring our own energy in. So I think it's also coming back to, and I'm talking also about, I suppose it's with anything, coaches or whoever you it's the energy that I want to now tune into, not only the money or are they the guru or not. So like you said, someone will resonate more with you and someone will resonate with me. And that is because that's normal.
Exactly. Yes.
That's normal.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
You know, and also I think, sorry to interrupt, what I think we're teaching also or showing women is that we can collaborate, we can be together, we don't need to be competitive. Because I found over the years it was the sisterhood that was actually, I got more hurt in than the men. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because here we are, let's just share and talk, and this, because you are bringing a whole different aspect in, aren't you?
Yeah. And so, you know, I work with women that have what I call mental unwellness or a mental illness. So I freely say, you know, I've had anxiety, depression, and PTSD. I've had that. So, you know, it's known as mental illness, but I like to say mental unwellness, because there are periods of where we're actually well and periods of unwellness, you know. So it's like, you know, physically, there are times that I'm feeling really great, which means I'm feeling well, but there are times I'm not, which means I'm feeling unwell.
Wow.
And
I know, I just keep going because I've just gone, yes, because it's like our bodies, but we don't even listen to our bodies. So if we're not listening to our bodies, how can we listen to our mind, which is what you're saying? How can we go, today I'm actually unwell?
But that's the thing, like, I love the medical system and I love complementary therapy, but both of them has caused trauma, because as women, we've been taught we don't know our body. We're not the expert. And that's why I'm so passionate about women reconnecting to their body, because you are the expert. Like with your business, you're the expert of your body. You know if something's wrong. And that's why, you know, when I worked in the healthcare field, I listened to the patient. And they said something's wrong. And I go, great, okay, talk to me. And so even in the medical field, I was intuitively tuning into that person, knowing. You know, there was one stage I said, when I was working in recovery, I walked into the anaesthetist and I went, there is something wrong with this patient. I don't know what. I can't put it into words, but I know something's wrong. And of course, being male, he sort of looked at me and just went like this, waited. But when he came out and did a little test, his pupils just dilated so huge. And he's like, oh my goodness, and had to get drugs to help this lady, you know, because I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that knowing. And what I'm liking also that you show your clients or patients, whatever you want to call them, is finding your own strategies to be able to, like you said, you know, there's something wrong. So this is what I'm loving. So taking bit of from the medical and from this, but bringing it together. Okay, I'm not well today. Right. What's happening? Then what would I do to support myself? Now, it might be, I don't know about you, but I know for me, if I have a headache now, I may take a Panadol, but I also may have rest or use peppermint or something. So tell me more, or the listeners as well, how you do this to support women.
So what I love doing, and this is my absolute passion, is working with the chakras. And I've developed what's called the 9 chakras of business. So I actually work with 9 chakras. And I actually work, because I really believe, as I said, business has an energy. It's got chakras as well. So when I work with the chakras, which are what people call vortexes of energy, we have them within our body and we have them everywhere else as well. Like, they're all around us, or everything, even trees and plants and all that have chakras. Everything has chakras, because we're all energy. So I love working with the energy, and it can be as simple as, what I love teaching my clients is, imagine yourself as a mini you. And I love to use the word imagine, because not everyone sees, not everyone hears, not everyone knows. But think of imagine. You go back to being a little child and like imagine. So imagine yourself as a mini you going into your body. And then you travel around your body and you look.
Yeah.
You look around.
You become your own stethoscope, don't you, really?
You do. And you imagine what's in there. And, you know, like, you might be working on your business and then something happens and you start feeling crap. then you just do that. Imagine yourself as a mini you. Go into where you're feeling crap.
Yeah.
What is going on? So I do have other tools. Like I love aromatherapy. I have my own, I've created my own what's called crystal essences, which is a vibrational medicine. I also take Panadol on that if I need it, because I do occasionally get migraines. I incorporate all of that, but yeah, I mainly work with the chakras.
Yeah. And what I like as well is that you are, what's the word you use? You are self-determining.
Mm.
See, what we're teaching women is how to come back to self-determine and say, hey, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because often the medical profession don't listen to us. And I can't believe they still don't at this time. And that can be female GPs as well as
Oh yeah,
male
totally.
ones,
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, and they negate you. So it's how
Mm-hmm.
can you stand firm
Mm-hmm.
in that? And then, as you said, take that into your business. So
Mm.
I work maybe with this 7, because I know, but what are the other 2? You mentioned 9.
Yeah, so what I do is I use what's called the Earth Connection Chakra, or what,
Yeah.
you know, that's what's come to me. So right in the core of Mother Earth, Gaia, whatever you want to
Yes.
call it, right in the core is where the beautiful, it's a connection. Like I really feel the connection. Whenever I'm feeling disconnected or not feeling like I'm in my body, I just take myself straight down into the core of Mother Earth and just sit there. So I call it the Earth Connection Chakra, because I'm connecting to the Earth, because
Yes.
I'm connected to everything, like I am.
Beautiful.
And then the other one, so it's what's called the Solar Lunar Chakra. So 2 chakras above our head, they actually combined for me. And then I discovered they've combined for a lot of people. That chakra is really helpful when we've done all the other beautiful work and we want to connect to past lives. We want to connect to our guides. We want to just really, it's again more about connection as well, but non-physical connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. So again, you're giving people options, because some people might, oh my God, guides, chakras and all that. It can feel scary, unfamiliar, and
Yep.
initially unsafe. But what you're doing is you're guiding women into this beautiful space of being able to go, like you're advising them, this is how you can use it. Then they give themselves, take their own advice.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing.
So,
Like, you know, I talk about the 9 chakras of business, and, you know, I've got lots of videos on it. And at the same time, I go, this is what I've discovered. This is what, and I've had a lot of information channeled. This is what works for me.
yeah.
You need to take what out of that, what is going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's worked for me doesn't mean that how I do it exactly is going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love that mini me, because that mini me does work for everyone. You imagine that mini you and you travel around.
God, I love it. I'm going to use that. And what I'm loving as well, and there seems to be also a shift with how we're doing things. As you said, a coach comes in, it's their energy, their way of doing it. Again, no disrespect. But what I'm hearing here, and I'm loving what you're saying, is no, it's you. You, as you said, coming back to what you said earlier, you're the expert. You actually know. You've either haven't found out that you do know because of trauma, or you've forgotten that you know.
Yes. Yes.
So really what you're doing, and that's where that, and the way my psychologist said to me, it's coming back to our inner strength and I take inner wisdom and all that, because it is here.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
you are guiding, holding, whatever you want to call it, for women to be able to be in there, vulnerable. Because that's what I love when you interviewed me. You hold space so beautifully with such loving kindness. And that's also important. Empathy.
Yes, yes. And safety. Like, I am so passionate about confidentiality. So my
Yeah,
clients, no one will ever know they've worked with me unless they want to
they
say
do.
something,
Yeah.
because I am so passionate about holding, as you said, a safe space for them. I want them to know that they are held and they are nurtured, and that I have compassion. You know, I want them to feel that so they can learn to trust themselves.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we could carry on. I'm loving so much, Darlene. It's beautiful. And I really appreciate the fact that we can share. There's just such, I just feel, but I don't, listeners, let us know too. There's just such love here, respect,
Yes.
honor, despite the fact that we have both gone through, I know for me, I'm going to call it hell, because it was hell.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot, like my childhood, a lot of it was great, but there was some of it that was crap. And then 30 years in the healthcare field where it was toxic. There were great things, but it was really toxic. And so I end up, with trauma from that.
Yeah.
Yet now I'm thriving. I'm
Yes.
thriving. Like
Yes.
I do have down moments, you know, I've had, and even this year I had a suicidal moment. Like thankfully it was just like a millisecond, but it still happens. And I'm willing to say this, I'm running a business with mental illness. And not just one, but three. Like, you know, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly.
That's exactly. But you also want to thrive properly now, don't you?
Yes, exactly. And that's what it's about. It's about thriving. Like my newsletter that went out recently, I talked about how isolating myself was actually good this week because I got stuff done in my business. You know, I'm going to have a break over Christmas, New Year. So I did isolate myself, but I isolated myself in a good way. I didn't do it so that I isolated myself and went, okay, I'm, you know, really getting depressed. It's like, no, it was actually a great way. And I was productive in my business.
And I love that. And I think what you're saying here too is you're able to isolate yourself because you knew you had the strategies, you know how to support yourself. And if you did struggle, you knew who to connect with. You had your support system outside of you as well.
Exactly. And that's
Mm.
the biggest thing is
Mm.
having a support system. And when we're in business, unless your family and friends run a business and run a business like you, they don't understand. So they can't be our support system when it comes to business.
Mm.
We've got to have other people. We've got to have other business women, masterminds, psychologists, counselors, whoever that we need. They need to be our support system.
Yeah. I totally agree with you because often your friends or family can mean well, but they don't know how to deal with it. They might negate you without realizing it, or all that sort of stuff. That's exactly right. I love that. So what I'm thinking is, because you mentioned you had I think I've joined. Let's just we're coming sort of towards the end. So two things I'd like. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Because I suddenly feel like I've cut it off, but I wanted, because I was thinking about your Facebook group. So also share with how women or do you work mainly with women?
Yeah, women.
Okay,
Yeah.
women. How can women connect with you, and also to know that they can have that support?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I've got a beautiful Facebook group where, you know, it is about the 9 chakras of business, but it's about connection, creativity, abundance, and business. So I've got a free Facebook group, plus, yeah, Facebook and Instagram and my YouTube.
Yeah, because what I'll do, everyone, is in the description, I will add a little bit about what we spoke about, and then Darleen's bio, but also the way you can connect with her. Go and have a look. And I think it's something, it's like also it's about learning to go and have a look, but doesn't mean to participate. And it doesn't mean we're going to pounce. Because that sometimes I find we get so scared because sometimes the selling tactics have been, God, you even have a look, and then they jump on you. I saw that you liked my post, or I saw that you did something, you have to now whatever. So I've stopped doing that because that traumatized, it sounds a big word, but I used to go, can't do that. And I so didn't want to do that. So anyone stepping out, just know that when you do look, Darleen, just ask, isn't it? Ask.
Yes, yeah, and I won't be that kind of person because I don't like that as well. And I've had people that said, I've been following you for years before I joined your Facebook group or before something. And that is what it's about. It's about a safe space. I will not jump on and go, oh, you've liked a post. Great. I've got a Facebook group, or I've got a newsletter, or I've got this service or product or whatever.
No, because again, you need to feel safe. And I love that. So if anyone's got any questions or anything come up, either contact either of us directly, depends who you want to, or leave a comment or anything you'd like. And if you prefer it, if you have a comment and you prefer it to be answered in person, just privately, just let whoever you ask know, because again, it's about you connecting with what is right for you.
Yes.
Like, and you don't need to make it public, or you can make it say, I have a question, something like that. And just know that we will hold you in that space.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Thank you.
Pleasure. Well, thank you, Darleen, as always. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about down the track.
We will, definitely.
So thank you, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. And any questions, do. And have a beautiful rest of the day or night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. And thanks, Darleen.
Thank you.